Hi, my name's Linda Morris, and I'm going to quickly take you through the club leadership training session with regard to setting your club's goals, the hows and whys, and where you will do this. In order to enter your goals, firstly, you'll need to make sure you have a login account with My Rotary, and you would set that up at my.rotary.org. Once you've set that up, you'll need to also make sure that the board members for the upcoming Rotary year for which you're going to set the goals are already in Club Runner, or for those of you who know how, in rotary.org, in myrotary.org. And thirdly, the only people in your club who are able to set the goals for your Rotary Club for the upcoming year are those with the designations of president, secretary, treasurer, foundation chair, or membership chair, those 5. So now you've got your idea of where you need to go. We will log into My Rotary. For those of you who do not have an account, you can easily set one up. You go to register for an account. For those who already have an account, you'll go to sign into My Rotary. When you register for an account, the type of information that you're going to be asked is your name, your email, and your age. Well, whether or not you're 18 years or older, the city within you live, the postal code, and a secondary email, and of course, whether or not you're a club member. And in this case, you most likely are, so you're going to be asked for the type of club, the club name, and your club ID. And once again, to remind you, in order to actually put the club's goals in, you will need to be someone who is holding for the upcoming year these 5 positions, and those positions and your names will already have had to have been entered into Club Runner, which flows into My Rotary, so you're identified. So now we've all got an ID. I've now logged into My Rotary. You can see at the top right-hand corner, it's got my email here, and it shows that I'm logged in. Once you're logged in order to get to the spot where you want to enter your goals, you would go to Manage, then over to Club and District Administration on the far left-hand side, and down to Rotary Club Central. As soon as you go into Rotary Club Central, this is going to take you to your club's dashboard page. Now, the interesting thing on this dashboard page, you can see I belong to Calgary Fish Creek. There are a few charts which are automatically populated whether or not you have put goals in. For example, membership trends, number of members from year to year, and this is pulled from Club Runner, as well as gender trends, again, pulled from your membership information and data that is put into Club Runner and fed into Rotary International. And lastly, the age trends. Following that are some optional trends which come from the goals with which we're going to look at now. So that's the dashboard. From there, I want to take you down to the Goal Center, the second item on the left-hand menu. Now in the Goal Center, again, if you are one of the 5 who are able to set goals, you're going to see there are tabs along the bottom, along the middle, and the year that we're looking at. So we are currently in spring of 1920, so your upcoming year will be 2021. You have goals that are categorized as members and engagement, Rotary Foundation giving, service, young leaders, public image. If you want to see all of the goals that are optional, you would click on the tab called All. And then as you scroll down, all of the goals that you have an option to set are here. Now, as you can see from all of the goals, there's goals that belong to each of these categories, for example, club membership. And this is where you would choose which goals you want to actually track this year. So in order to choose, I would suggest for sure you'd want to track your club membership. You might want to track your service participation, etc. So you go down the list and choose which goals you would like to track and tick the select goal box. If you're not sure what the goal is about, each goal has a detail and a history. So let's go up to new member sponsorship, for example. If we look at what that is all about, it's saying it's about how many members will sponsor a new club member during the upcoming Rotary year. And it'll give you a little bit of an idea of historically what the achievement was and what the goal was. Once you've selected your goals and then put the actual goal in, you'll go down and go to the far left, and on the green button, you'll save this. So all of your goals are now saved, and you'll notice that under all, it's only going to show those goals which you have chosen. If you wanted to see them under their various categories, again, you'll go under the category and you'll see if there's goals there or not. In our case, it is mainly goals under the membership and engagement category. Now, as and when those goals are achieved, so next year, as you add leadership development participation, for example, in order to put your achievement, you would go into the edit button and enter the achievement and then save. I'm not going to do that because I think our president has already put information in here and I don't want to mess it up for him. So setting the goals, and then throughout the year, you use the edit button to update the achievement against each of those goals. You will note, however, some of the goals, such as club membership, will be automatically updated because that is drawn again from Club Runner as and when you add or delete members. So that's a goal that's easily entered and automatically updated for you. So now let's jump down to the category called service activities. This is a category that I do not believe is used by a lot of clubs. However, our club certainly does use it. And to give you an example of what it's used for, I'm going to go back to this current year. In this year, we would enter all of our fundraising and all of our donation, hands-on and donation activities. So for example, we have cooked pancakes and served meals at the Father Lacombe Care Center. If I go into that, it's going to show you that it was Father Lacombe Care Home. It was a Stampede barbecue and lunch. You would enter the start date and the end date. In this case, the project is complete because it was last year. And what you're actually measuring is how many volunteers did it take to do this that we're projecting, and how many did it actually take, and how many volunteer hours as well as the actual. So we have the projected versus the actual. And what this does is allow you to plan for those hands-on events. Do you have enough members available to do the hands-on? How many hours is it going to take? Are we going to give a cash contribution? In this case, we did not project to give one, nor did we enter anything for achievement. At the bottom, you put the category that this belongs to. So this belongs to our community service group. And in this case, we had no partners with which we worked. So if you do choose to do this for the following year, you can do it in one of two ways. You can add a brand new service project. So this would be filling in all of that information for a new project that you may not have done in the past, a project title, a little bit of a summary. You'll want to put the start and end date, And if it happens to be something that you do every month, every year, you would put the start date as July 1st and the end date as June 30th. And again, you would just put your monthly, your total year projected and your total year of volunteer hours, whether or not there's any cash contributions or donated goods, and what the category is. And your choices are community, international, vocational, young leaders, or fundraiser. So we also put our fundraisers in here. And again, whether or not you have any partners. Interact, Rotaract, action groups, other clubs, etc. Once you've got that entered as your new, you would save it. However, if there are repeatable past service projects, you would click on the repeat past service projects. It will give you a list of all of those projects that you generally do year from year, and you can choose to pull them over into the next year. So you can see here our fundraising. We've got our wine raffle, our casino, pub quiz, etc. So you can copy the projects into the next year. I'm not going to do that right now because again, our president is currently working on this. So that will build your projects. In order to manage the projects, again, I'm going to go back to last year so we can see a project. Now these ones, this one was canceled, but if it had gone ahead, we would have made sure that we had the right dates. We would have put our actual achievement. I think we had 15 people scheduled to go, and it is about 200 hours of work. We would have put our achievement in, and it was an international, and we did do it with other clubs, and then you would simply hit project complete. So I'm not going to do that again because the project did not go ahead this year because of COVID. Now the next section I want to show you is a reports section. And this might be something that would be of interest to you if you haven't been in here very much in the past. So you can get club reports with regard to your growth of your club, the profile of members. There's all sorts in here. You can look at it from a district perspective, which our district does do. They want to see how their district is doing. So the information you're entering does funnel up to the district. And then of course the regional zone reports. So it's interesting information, and it gives you a bit of a track record as to how you're doing, both in membership engagement, foundation and giving, and in the areas of service. Let's move on now to resources. So if you've forgotten everything I've told you up to now, in the resources section, there's a whole area on how to set the goals, how to report on the progress or the achievements, and how to record those service activities that we just went over, and how to view all the other information in Rotary Central. So there's lots of good information here that I would encourage you to have a peek at as you're playing around in Rotary Central. The last area we'll go to is the global view. This is a view of your club group. You can look at your club group. You can look at your district. And again, it gives you a bit of a history of the goals. In this case, we have only 19 of our 48 clubs who are using the goal center to track club membership and some of the other areas that we've covered. So as we all start to put our goals in, this number will go up, and then our achievement versus goals will also be a little more accurate than it's showing today. The last area I want to show you is something that I discovered and use quite often. If you go back to My Rotary, the home page, we're going to go into club administration. And this is something that all secretaries and treasurers probably should be aware of. So again, we'll go to manage, go to Club District Administration. And if you go to Club Administration, this is where you're going to find your club's information with regard to invoices, whether or not you've paid, what you owe, how you need to pay it, club and member data. And this is where, as I mentioned to you, those 5 designations in your club that are able to do the goals, this is where you can see their names. So if I went to edit, add, remove club executive, it's going to show me for Fish Creek who our club members are that can, the 5 members that can do all of this goal setting for the club. So you have the current year officers and then the 5 upcoming officers. So these are the current members for 2021 that can set goals for our club. And very last but not least, let's go to the Learning and Reference Center. So Learning and Reference in the blue, and then over to the far right, the Learning Center. This is where you're going to send new members, you're going to send new executives or board members who have a certain portfolio that they may not be as familiar with. And it's your Learning Center. And from here, you can take as many of these courses as you like. They range anywhere from, I'm going to scroll down a little bit, from anything about Rotary, Assistant Governor Basics, if that's where you're looking to go, being a facilitator, building a diverse club. And as you can see, there's many, many basics here. Club president basics. If you're the incoming president, you might want to go through that. Club membership, administration, foundation, secretary, treasurer. So this is a very, very useful site. And with that, I'm going to finish the session. And if you need any more information, please do go into that resource center.